Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Green Jobs Rising webinar today. It's the first in this series. At Green Jobs Rising, we say, hey, welcome to Green Jobs Rising. My name is Pauline, and I'm the editor of Green Jobs Rising newsletter. If you're hearing Green Jobs Rising, this is, if you're hearing for the first time, this is the newsletter that is built for young professionals within Africa. So these are for people who are either stepping into the field for the first time, they're getting started, or they're already in the field and they're looking to grow, or they're transitioning from another field into the sector, and they want to know more about this field. So what we do at Green Jobs Rising is we break down what's happening within Africa, the Africa's green sector. Then we share trends shaping this, the space. We share unique insights from recruiters. We share practical entry point into green careers. We curate job listings for you across the continent, plus courses, fellowship, scholarship, and many other opportunities just to help you to level up. So basically, Green Jobs Rising gives you the information and the direction that you need to navigate the sector with confidence. I'm really excited about today's session because these conversations are a big part of our mission. What we want to do is to help the young people to access the knowledge and the networks they need to thrive in the economy, that is the green economy. And today we are focusing on jobs in one of the sectors within the economy. That is electric mobility. Electric mobility is just one of the sectors within the green economy. In this sector, we have several sectors. We have renewable energy to sustainable agriculture to circular economy, waste management. We also have smart construction, all these sectors. But today we are focusing on one, that is electric mobility, because it's one of the fast growing sectors. And, you know, when I am in Nairobi, and within Nairobi, I've seen quite a number of electric vehicles. And where I stay, there are so many electric motorcycles. So it is a sector that you want to hear the experts speak about. How are the jobs here? And when we talk about the green jobs, they are not just meant for scientists and the engineers. There are roles in marketing, in HR. We are talking about data finance, we are talking about communications. Well, I am in communications, and at Continent Rising, we are basically in the green sector because we cover the news and the insights within green economy. So yeah, even in communication, we are talking project management, graphic design. Someone asked whether a graphic designer can get a job in the green economy. So yes, you can. Literally every skill set has a place in this transition. But you don't want to hear about from me today. You want to hear about from the experts in this field, the mobility field. And those are the people we have for you today in this webinar. If you have any questions, please just on one of the either of the newsletters that we've been sent to you, kindly just click the reply button on those newsletters. Type in your question and then send it to me. I'll get those questions and we will do our best to answer them. So I want to invite Rispa, who is going to introduce our guests to you, and also she will be moderating this session for us. Again, thank you for joining us, and I hope that you'll get to learn more about the jobs in this sector. Thank you. Rispa, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Pauline. I hope you all can hear me clearly. I am Rispa, and thank you so much for making time to join us, to be here. I will be moderating the session today just to make sure we keep time, because you know when people are conversing, sharing insights, we might tend to forget a little bit about time. So I will be making sure that we are on time because we're operating on a very tight schedule. And today we're going to be answering all your questions in the electric mobility sector. Where do I start? What skills are needed? I mean, how do I advance in my career? All those questions are going to be answered today, and we have an incredible lineup of speakers that are going to be addressing all these questions, because we just have to make sure you have to learn. At the end of the session, you have to walk away with the most valuable lessons that you will have gotten from today. And after we have heard from all our speakers, we will have a session where we'll be answering all your questions, so don't worry about that. And just to introduce our speakers, we will have Brian Ambani, who is an EV expert and an editor at the Mobility Rising newsletter. We also have Ian Musembi. He's an e-mobility and green energy analyst and also a co-editor at Mobility Rising. We have Josh Will, who is the CEO, Ampersand, and he is also an expert with the most experience in running electric mobility business in Africa. And finally, we will have Join Assemble, who is a project manager at Shortlist. He's going to be taking us through just the scope of hiring when it comes to applying for roles or you're looking for a certain position. And to start off our conversation, we will have Brian Ambani, who will introduce the Mobility Rising newsletter and tell us what they do. So over to you, Brian.
Thank you very much, Rispa, for the introduction. My name is Brian Ambani. I am the senior editor for Mobility Rising. And I just want to echo what Pauline said earlier. The EV sector is rapidly growing here in Africa. And being in a busy capital city like Nairobi gives you an opportunity to witness firsthand what is happening on the ground. And as she mentioned, now we can see a lot of electric motorcycles on the road whenever you are in the city. And so our newsletter, Mobility Rising, we publish it daily. That is Monday to Friday. And it highlights what is going on within the sector. And by the EV sector, what we mean is this encompasses electric bicycles. We have motorcycles, tricycles, that is commonly known as tuk-tuks in East Africa here. These are cars, we have vans, trucks, and finally buses. So this shows you just how wide the sector is. And so let me take you a bit of what we do at Mobility Rising. So with that background of what is happening within the sector, we thought it is very important for young people in this sector and as well as professionals to get a first-hand view of the ongoings within the sector. And so we do track trends. We have policies, market developments, and job opportunities across the continent for young professionals that are looking to get into the sectors. So we do this by giving our subscribers the insights that they need to stay ahead in the EV sector. So this includes all the cells, the charging infrastructure across all the clean mobility landscape. So we publish jobs every day. And so if you are within the sector or you want to get into the sector, this is really a good newsletter for you to have so that you stay ahead with all the job opportunities. And we do not just focus on one country. Despite the fact that we are located here in Nairobi, Kenya, we track jobs across all the markets. So be it Egypt, be it Tunisia, be it South Africa. So across the continent, all the jobs, we have them for you. So today we are going to share insights about the opportunities that are available in the sector, the skills that recruiters are looking for, and the practical strategies that can help you to land the dream job that you are looking for within the sector. So I'll take this opportunity to welcome my colleague, Ian Musembi. Ian has been gathering all the key hiring trends and data over the last 7 months or so. So his daily job is really to look across the continent, who is hiring, what they are looking for, the roles that they are looking to fill, and the fit candidates that they want to fill these roles. So Ian, please take us through what you have, the highlights.
Hello and good morning. My name is Ian Musembi. I'm an e-mobility analyst and a co-editor at Mobility Rising. One of my biggest responsibilities is keeping an eye on how many companies across Africa are hunting for talent as the sector grows. And trust me, I've been tracking this e-mobility hiring spree for every single day for not actually 7 months, but for the last 2 years, with no breaks or no excuses. And the patterns, I'm telling you, they are honestly fascinating. A lot has changed. And we love calling this a very nascent sector because it is very little, but it has some enormous potential. But let's be real. The growth is no longer a rumor, it is happening. And the roles have flipped from actually 50 plus managerial in the last in the last 2 years to less than 20, because the business models have finally been tested and proven. So please don't sleep on even the small startups. They are building the future in real time. And since e-mobility is still relatively new in Africa, most people in the industry have been learning this as they go, which means, yes, you can absolutely break in using even transferable skills, even if you have never worked in e-mobility before. Every month, we spotlight 80 to 100 senior roles, and we still highlight even junior and entry opportunities, because this room has space for everyone. So if you are hunting for a job or just curious, make sure to check the Mobility Rising newsletter every Friday for some fresh roles across the continent. Yes, so over to you, Rista.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Ian. Okay, maybe something I forgot to mention. My colleague Robert will be handling all our technical matters. So yeah, just so you know. And so next, I think we're going to go. But before we move, Ambani, Brian, do you have anything to add on that?
Yes. So we have noticed that within the sector, a good number of companies are hiring aggressively. So what we tend to notice is that whenever a company, an EV company, raises a good amount of money, after a few months, you start noticing that reflect in their hiring trends. So that is really something to look out for, for anybody that is within the sector, or anybody that is looking to work in the sector one day. Back to you, Aris.
Okay, thank you. So I think now we're going to move forward to Josh Will, he is the CEO Ampersand, and he has quite a lot of experience in running electric mobility businesses, especially in Africa. And he will be taking us through the overview of the e-mobility sector, the gaps that exist in the industry, how Ampersand and the broader e-mobility sector is working to support professionals, young professionals, junior, mid-level professionals in the industry. And so welcome, Josh. Thank you. Thank you so much for making time to be here.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me here today. It's a real pleasure and an honor to speak to so many young. I think a lot of young people on the call, younger people on the call today. But feel free to jump in if you would like me to direct more to more experienced positions, senior positions. But I'll give an overview of the sector. So it tends to be, there's a lot happening, as you've probably seen, particularly in two-wheelers. That's probably the most active and vibrant sector across the continent, followed by perhaps buses and also electric cars. Obviously are coming in, and each of these have their own kind of features. And I'll speak mainly to the two-wheelers because that's what I know. The technology is still evolving in the two-wheeler space, so there are a lot of roles in not just in maintaining and repairing the electric vehicles, but actually development and R&D. We have a large R&D team around software, battery technology, firmware, mechanical engineering, and I think we certainly see ourselves as if not the technology leader in that space, both on the design and manufacturing of batteries, battery packs, the sole software backend that manages this fleet of batteries, in real time, manages the charging network, because batteries are still expensive. The cost is coming down. So part of the team's focus is bringing the cost down of batteries. And part of it is on optimizing the assets across the network. Certainly experienced people with experience in running operations, in optimizing operations, using data and business intelligence to make processes work more efficiently, make business decisions. There's a lot to be done there. We see these businesses are complex. They are, at least historically, have been very vertically integrated. So where you have so basically ampersand, we design batteries and then we manufacture them. We design, to an extent, design even on the motorcycle, at least some key components, do a lot of testing and validation of the vehicles, the distribution, sales, aftercare, sourcing of spare parts. We deal directly with the finance providers. So we're kind of almost like 3 companies in one, right? And I think that's fairly common, as you'll see across the sector, because with all the complexity that there is, probably 1,000 different variables when it comes to how you price and product decisions within each battery. There are hundreds of components, and then all the software programming of the battery, the parameters you use. There are so many variables that if you have very fragmented kind of supply chains and ecosystem, that it gets very difficult to progress and to make decisions and move quickly. And so that recipe of pretty high degree of vertical integration initially was necessary, but has also been necessary for us. I would say that now things are evolving. So there is going to be some more, like with any new exciting sector, there is going to be some consolidation. You're going to see you're going to see some companies not make it. So like there's an initial proliferation and then consolidation, but also specialization. So some companies like ours, we're moving really primarily focused on the energy network, the batteries, and the software that runs it. And we're actually bringing in other motorcycle manufacturers that want to build motorbikes, but have historically built a lot of motorbikes, but have been less familiar with how to make an electric one.
Okay. Thank you so much. I can see questions have already started coming in, and we are definitely going to come back to you, Josh, because there are lots of questions here. But at the moment, let's just move forward to Dwayne. Are you okay, Dwayne? Assemble. Yeah,
Yes.
I can see his us. Dwayne is the project manager at Shortlist, and he will be giving us the overview when it comes to hiring, what it is that hiring professionals look for, what it is that makes a candidate stand out, and probably maybe the magic trick to getting a job, you never know. So yeah, welcome.
Thank you, Rispa. Sorry, I have a blackout as it so happens. KPLC did a thing just before we started, so I'm trying to save battery. And so as Rispa said, my name is Dwayne. I work for Shortlist and Shortlist Futures, which is actually focused on placing young talent or Africa's youth into jobs in emerging markets such as clean energy. I think it was Pauline who said earlier that clean energy or green economy has roles that cut across. So I'll speak to the skills that cut across, transferable skills. Those are standard for any job you're looking for. You're looking for, problem-solving skills, communication skills, people who are able to work within a team, people who are willing to learn, especially when you're starting out. If there was a trick I would give everyone to grow in their careers is be willing to learn, be willing to step out of your comfort zone to grow in that current job or in your career. Typically, what we look for as recruiters, I love a well-written CV. So first thing I'm looking for, because that's your first, we're not interacting at any other platform apart from your CV. So the first thing I look for is a CV I can scan quickly, within the first 10 to 15 seconds. I can see your name, your profile, your experience. I encourage people to work on their LinkedIn profiles, because we have a lot of clients who like to see your LinkedIn, and it should match your CV. But yeah, back to the CV. Once I've seen a well-written CV, I'm coming into your experience. And I know when you're starting out, it's harder to do this thing that we all like as recruiters, but we love to see achievements. If you're an early career person, achievements can be related to school, but quantify your achievements, brag a little about yourself. Responsibilities are fun, but I always look at achievement first, which will tell me what you've been able to do in your past and what you can do going forward. And then obviously responsibilities. A typical layout would be your contact details, your experience, your education. References are a touchy subject. You don't have to put references until you are at offer stage. And as we always say, you need to make sure your references know that they're your references. And then beyond the CV, we look at now, when we move into a call, we do a screening call where we gauge general competency, especially interest. A typical question to expect in this stage is, why would you like to work for this organization? It's typical, but quite a few people fail at this stage. I'll tell you what I'm looking for in that question. I want to see genuine interest in that company and an understanding of your role. You'd be surprised how many times I've had, I am looking for a job. That doesn't cut it. If you show me that you've researched the company, yes, we hear it all the time, but this information you can get online. Yes, but for me as a recruiter and the person I'm recruiting for, they will see that you're interested. How do you get information like this? Green Job Rising, LinkedIn posts, Google. You can say, I saw that you're recently funded, I'm interested in ABC, or you're expanding into this market. That's a really good way to start a conversation. And then I think after our screening, usually we forward to a client, you would expect another phone call or another interview with a hiring firm. And then there's an assessment stage. This has become increasingly popular because for a lot of organizations, how you answer those questions will show them whether you're willing to learn or you're willing to adapt, or that you know your skill. So you would expect a screening call from a recruiter, another call with a client, and then an assessment stage or a case study stage. And then usually there's a culture fit. Now, culture fit is where they would invite you to see how you gel with the team, how you work, if you work well with other people. And it's not really an interview, it's just getting to meet the team. Remember to be authentic, but also not come across as, I guess the word is pretentious. But yeah, I'll tell you what helps me. When I Google the people I'm going to meet, when I put a face to it, I am less nervous. So, and then after the culture fit interview, there's the offer stage where you will get your offer letter via email. I hope I've answered your question, Rispa. I've gone too far left.
Oh yeah, sure, you have. I think from our audience, I hope you've picked something. Please just don't say you need a job. It's okay, you need a job, but hey, please explain, why do you need, show interest. It's okay, you need a job, but please show interest. I can see a question here. I think this is best that Brian or Ian addresses this one. How do we know that there will be more and more EV jobs in future?
Thank you. I am happy to take that one. So demand is rising rapidly within the sector, and in Africa alone, in terms of EV sales, that is cars alone, they grew more than double in 2024. That is according to a recent report by the IEA. Okay. And this is a trend that is only going to accelerate because demand, especially for two-wheelers, that is electric motorcycles especially, is really going rising really fast. So the growth is only going to continue because we have more than 30 million motorcycles in Africa, and at the moment only a tiny fraction are electric. So we still have a long way to go to meet the demand that is there. And also globally, a lot of countries, we have countries that are racing to meet their own timelines for transition to EVs. In the EU, they are targeting to transition to EVs by 2035. In Africa here, we are seeing countries like Ethiopia banning the importation of fuel cars. So this is a sector that is only just at the beginning. So if you're looking for a sector that is only going to grow, this is the place to be.
Okay, thank you, Brian. So certainly, yes, there is more and more jobs to come in future in the EV. So if you're there and you're thinking, is this the right place to be? Is this the right industry to join? Yeah, sure, it is. And if you're already in, you already working here, it's time to upskill. It's time to explore more different opportunities. I can see more other questions. This one goes to Josh. Do you only hire engineers? Probably not. You don't only hire engineers, but who else do you hire? Just to clarify or shed light on you know, it's not just an engineer's field. It also takes other people. So who else do you hire, Josh?
Yes, we don't only hire engineers. I'd say they get a lot of prominence in our hiring because those tend to be the most sort of in demand, because it takes a lot of technical expertise to design electric vehicle batteries. I'd say that firmware engineers and firmware, battery, and electrical engineers tend to be the most sought after. No, we don't only hire in engineering and technical roles. We do also hire in finance, data science, sort of as somewhat in between the two, business intelligence. Also, we do have grants and investors that care about impact. So we have roles in ESG and monitoring and evaluation of grants, so reporting on things like the carbon savings, job creation, ensuring that also that we have policies in place to protect our workers, our customers, and the environment. So yeah, not only engineers.
Oh, okay. I have seen something like a question popped. Maybe, Robert, you could help me in that because I really can't see it. I don't know. You would really help me with that. So, next question. This one goes to Join. You know, we're in the age of AI, and we can't run away from it. We're using AI almost in everything we're doing right now. But to what limit should I use AI to write my CV? I mean, where do we draw the line?
Well, I think one, it depends on the role you're applying for. Some organizations actually do say do not use AI for the responses or the CV. I think where the limit is, where's the human touch? So AI can write your CV or your cover letter, but someone who looks at these things all day will be able to tell there's no, I guess, personality, so to speak. So use AI to write your CV, but then jump in and change some things, put a human touch, remove phrases that don't sound like you, because what happens is AI will write your CV and you get into the interview and you sound completely different. So personalize it a little bit more. But again, that depends on the job you're applying for. Some people do not like anything AI. Personally, I don't mind if it doesn't look like copy paste, especially for cover letters. Yeah, so do as you see fit, but as part of the job application.
Okay, so that means make sure there's a human touch. Let your personality, let it speak for you. Just don't copy and paste and send it. You know, people even forget to edit out the sure. This is a CV, or sure, this is how, sometimes people will even forget to edit that out. So Josh, this one goes to you. Once someone gets a job at Ampersand, what are the upskilling opportunities? I mean, what would be that reason that someone would really want to work at Ampersand? Some fun times. What is it that really would make someone want to be there?
Before you answer, I just have a follow-up to that. And
okay, Brian.
what are some of the skills that are transferable from one company to another? So let's say I work at one of your competitors and I want to, it might be an electric car company, it might be a bicycle company. Are there skills that are transferable if you're working on batteries or wherever, that you can work across the sector? That is in the technical aspects, yes.
Okay, so what's it like to work at Ampersand? I think we, we started from a very small scale. We started well, basically me with a laptop in the beginning, and then a small house in Kigali with a garage, literally a garage project, and then has grown from there. So very much from the beginning, the kind of startup working culture, I think moving in a very agile way, but also with a lot of integrity and honesty. I think this is a new sector where we are, it's not just a matter of move fast and break things like in other maybe startup sectors. At least it shouldn't be. And there are people's lives and livelihoods at stake as well. And we're coming at this from a standpoint of climate change and making lives better for people. So I think we have a real sense of mission and purpose at Ampersand, and I'm proud of that. There's a real team spirit. It's been, yeah, I think the working environment, I think don't expect sort of such a hipster fancy working environment. It is still fairly industrial, and like most companies or all companies in the sector, money is always much tighter than it is, say, for startups in say India or the US or Europe. So it's not, I wouldn't say it's suddenly everybody's driving around in Land Cruisers, but it's okay. Yeah, I think we really try to, because we have been growing quickly. So the last 2 to 3 years, sorry, we've grown 2 to 3x for the last 5 years. So we are doing our best to maintain that kind of culture of collaboration and culture of feedback being able to get up to the top, and a real spirit of customer centricity. I think most of the top management team all ride motorbikes themselves, so that they can also talk to the customers and understand their needs, and spend a lot of time out there in the field with our customers. And so getting both the qualitative as well as the very, very data-driven, very operationally precise, I think, way of working. In terms of skills transferability, no, there are clearly a lot of skills, not just technical skills, that are transferable. I think it really comes down to the type of almost the type of business model and the type of structure, I suppose. So the way that so key characteristics of our business are, yes, we have a vehicle side, so it's production, design, testing, supply chain, logistics, construction of the vehicles, and sale and distribution. I forgot to mention earlier, so we do hire sales and marketing. We haven't had to do much on that in the past. We still have around 7,000 customers on our active waiting list just in Kigali. And we're present in Kigali and Nairobi. And so we had to invest in sales and marketing because it's a B2B sector. Its customers are, border riders see each other. The vehicle and the battery are effectively a mobile advertisement as other swap stations. But that is now changing, and the sector is becoming more competitive, and there's more, I think, competitive differentiation. So helping customers to understand what's different there. So those skills are pretty transferable, actually. I think from whether you're selling a truck or a car, because the EV market in Africa is very, and even coming in from petrol motorcycles, and it's very commercially focused. So it's not so much about having celebrity endorsements and fancy, flashy showrooms. It's much more about, is this going to put food on my table at the end of the day? Is it going to be reliable, dependable? Is the vehicle itself that I'm going to end up owning going to hold its value? Are these batteries that we're all depending on still going to be working in a year? Those tend to be the skills that are more important. And there are also a lot of B2B relationships. For example, we work very closely with a lot of vehicle manufacturers. We work closely with Mkopa and Watu, who provide the financing. We work with franchise partners, petrol station operators. So there are a lot of medium level, high level strategic partnerships, and then right down to relatively small partnerships. We also, as you can imagine, work a lot with the utility companies, KPLC. So we're planning out where future stations are going to go, trying to align with their programs, their needs, their budgets. And then procurement and supply chain, there's a lot as well, which are vehicle assembly. These are all pretty transferable skill sets.
Okay. Thank you for that. I'm also seeing another question here, still would be for you, Josh. How can EV companies, and in this case, Ampersand, help those who are willing to join the EV industry, but they can't afford to get the finance to learn more about EVs?
How can we help to finance? So we haven't been the best in the past at really making sure that for every vocation at Ampersand there is a clear progression pathway. We have an Ampersand Academy where we will take on staff who are swapping batteries, so really coming in even without any university qualifications, and who are moving batteries around in the stations. We're trying to give them opportunities to progress into either mechanical, electrical, or engineering or vehicle assembly. But I'd say a lot of that is still nascent. Maybe we need to work with our friends at Shortlist to help build out those pathways.
Okay. All right. I'm also seeing a lot of questions. Thank you so much. We're seeing new questions. I see there's Dolphin Otieno. I did a Bachelor's of Science, Sustainable Energy and Climate Change System. Which roles suit me well?
Maybe I can answer that.
Yeah, this will go to you. Yeah.
Actually, I can combine that question with another one which we received from Christine Nyawira about upskilling, and all of them, they are suitable for the ESGs. So as we have said, like there is something for everyone in these roles. Having done these sustainability courses in your universities, actually they are like you can fit in like 5 roles. That goes to energy and charging roles, sustainability and compliance, technical and product support, and even operations programs roles, or even research and policy. For instance, you can be a charging infrastructure assistant or an energy system assistant. You can also apply as an ESG analyst or an energy data technician, or maybe e-mobility project assistant or e-mobility policy researcher. So I hope I have answered your question, Dolphin and Christy.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Ian. I'm also seeing a question for Dwayne. I want to know what the job seeker should approach giving a counter offer at the point of the offer, having gone through the lengthy process of the interview. Okay.
I'm not sure I understand. So is it you countering the offer as a job seeker? Is that correct?
I think that is what I am getting from the question. What should be the approach from the job seeker when offering like a counter offer?
Okay. hopefully at this stage you've gauged about how much higher they can go. So if you get an offer that you do not like, you would typically follow up with, thank you for the offer. This usually always be polite. Is this negotiable because I was thinking of this range? And then you give them a range or you give them your figure that you will not go below. But always ask if it's negotiable, either at interview stage or once the offer letter has come. And then they can have another conversation and they can tell you, we'll meet you halfway, or that's not possible, or yeah, that's possible. But I would say, yeah, you should know that you should always first have known if it's a negotiable offer.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I think we have answered that. This one goes to you, Josh, because you've been in the industry long enough. Someone is asking, is there job security and career growth and work flexibility, especially on the job security?
Yeah, overall, we've been, I think in our history, we've done maybe one round of layoffs, and they were mostly senior mid-level positions, less than 5% of the workforce. We're fairly careful with hiring. I think there is it's worth asking if you feel you can. How in the interview, how the company is doing, what is the company at a point where it's profitable, or is it still reliant on, grants and further investment rounds, and whether that's coming in or not. I think it's a fair question to ask, especially if you're at maybe less so at entry level. I'm not sure. I think it's still okay to ask at entry level, but certainly to dig a bit deeper if you're going for a senior position and you've got other options. I would say, I think that it's no less job secure than other jobs. We try not to hire a lot of consultants or gig workers. We've also been moving away from a situation where we have lots of sort of capital comes in, we deploy, we have a lot of growth, and then things are very quiet for a long time, and we're waiting for the next fundraising cycle. I think now we're at a point where we are sufficiently large and at a level of scale where we're able to cover our own costs. We would love to grow much more. We can and would be able to grow much more quickly, but we're looking at a much more sort of steady state with a more gentle growth trajectory for the next few months, but then with a lot of potential, lot of big upside opportunities to ramp up. So rather than sort of a wave, looking at more of an upward trend. I'm sure it'll be still faster and slower at times, but not down.
Okay.
So for Josh, just a second. For Josh, a follow-up question to what you mentioned earlier, with the trajectory of the sector, that some companies are likely to be acquired in the future, merged, or some will entirely collapse as the competition grows. So are there some telltale signs that a job seeker may look out for a company that will likely not make it in the sector? Or is it hard to identify that at this particular stage at any other company?
That's a great question. I'm not sure how to answer it. I mean, certainly if companies have just raised large funding rounds, it's promising, but we've also seen companies greatly inflate the amount of funding that they've secured versus what is coming later, subject to milestones. So you can't always trust what you read in Mobility Rising. Just kidding. Or TechCrunch, more like TechCrunch for that matter. Look, I think if companies have stopped hiring for a long time, if they haven't raised money for a long time, if they haven't been growing, deploying new products, deploying volume for a long time, I think it's worth asking the question. But also, I think companies they're getting better at keeping a grip on their finances. So they may be just more frugal, more lean, rather than struggling necessarily. I think also I would look at I think a big telltale sign, at least in our narrower part of the sector around two-wheelers, I think it's going to be much less of an issue if you're a dealership for BYD or something like that, where it's a very mature product. But what we have seen from a couple of companies is if a lot of vehicles are broken down, so if you can ask what proportion of your customers or vehicles sold are active, are on the road, are still operational today. The batteries are, what's your average lifespan on a battery? Based on the actual experience, not the theory, because the batteries make up still a huge part of the capital required for the sector. And so if a battery is not living up to the advertised or necessary lifespan to recoup its initial investment, that's a massive liability. I think the other one I'd say is safety. I mean, look at the company's track record. Ask the customers. Actually, that's probably the number one thing. Come to think of it, ask their users: are they happy with the product? How's the service doing? Do you feel looked after? Would you prefer something else? And because at the end of the day, customers will vote with their feet.
Okay. Thank you so much for that, Josh. In the interest of time, because I can see we have that 15 minutes remaining, I will just combine most of these questions. Most of them are repeating themselves, so I'll just pick and summarize them. I have one more here. This one goes to Joy. It's about CVs. When applying for green jobs, do we do a modern CV, ATS, or an ATS CV when making the online?
I love to be on in all my years of recruitment, and there have been many. I've not heard of a modern CV. I think the standard CV template, which could be defined as ATS friendly, and what you want is just a clean, well formatted CV. Use standard fonts. Unless you're applying for something creative, do not use images. I've seen these fancy CVs with like pictures and graphics on the side. If that's for HR or a technical person, it doesn't apply. So it would probably be distorted on the ATS. So I would avoid that. What you can do is also, for an ATS friendly CV, is incorporate words that you've seen on the JD. Not all the words, but some of the words. And that's why we say tailor make your CV. I know it's annoying when you're job hunting to keep tailor making your CV, but it helps. Some people, not us at Shopits, but some people would use keywords to search through your profile. We tend to go through every CV because sometimes there's missing things, and because we're dealing with a much younger people who are not in the job market, we'd like to give everyone a chance. But some organizations would use keywords. I would say incorporate some keywords into the CV. And then I think for me, always have it in PDF, just nicely formatted, put keywords, put your experience, your achievements, and some of your skills, and then put it in PDF and upload, and you should be fine.
Okay, thank you so much. I think we have one last question. We will have this one as the last question, or maybe just one more, if you really have a pressing question. This is someone who's saying, I have a background in international relations. What range of roles, skills, and certifications are needed to fully transition into e-mobility? I think this one, I will give it to Ian. Ian, can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, having this degree of international relations, it is more of a communicating role. And for you, yes, and for you, this actually you can venture into policy and regulatory affairs. Also, you can businesses are always expanding. Maybe you are good to communicating with different people from different cultures. So actually, you can be a business or partnerships developer, whereby you engage with different ecosystems and actually business development. Also, you can be into project as a project coordinator, and this goes along to having those projects cut across different countries. Or also you can actually give some insights on research which goes past different levels of regions and all that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ian. I can see Josh, your hand is up.
Yeah, I would say, look, there are a lot of international organizations that really do want to support the sector and are looking for ways to catalyze it. So I'd say that's one avenue to work and look for jobs from those organizations. I'd certainly get on the Nairobi Climate Network, which the team here is Mobility Rising team is supporting, Continent Rising. To look out for that. Under Article 6, the carbon trading, there are now a lot of bilateral agreements under Article 6.4 of the Paris Convention, where countries are able to trade carbon credits. So working in and around those contracts. I mean, I don't know at what high level. I don't know if there are entry or earlier stage jobs in that. There's certainly a lot of activity there as well.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you for that. Dwayne, I see your hand is up as well.
Yeah, mostly a question back to the person about international relations. I would say, what is your main interest? It can get overwhelming to go out into the world and be, we'll tell you all these things. There's HR, there's recruitment, there's tech, but what is your interest? What is your passion? And then from there, you can now start to angle yourself towards it. The courses Ian has mentioned, if you're not interested in any of those, you'll sign up and then you get lost. But what are you passionate about? You think about 2 years from now, where do you want to be? And then that would be should be your guidance towards angling to that job in the e-mobility space.
Okay, thank you. Josh, I see your hand is up again.
Oh, before Josh speaks, I have one last question for him.
Okay.
So in other markets, we see a lot of employers bringing up employee stock ownership options just to be able to attract promising talent. Is this something that is happening within the EV sector in Africa, or we are yet to reach at that point in time to be able to offer such options for junior or mid-level employees?
Yeah, we do have that. A challenge in Africa has historically been that the tax laws are very vague for countries, and so if I give, say, the guy in the picture behind me, if you can see, if we give our frontline staff stock options, but then they're treated as what's called a non-cash tax liability, so they're valued by the tax authority then and there as if something of value has been given that day, rather than something in the future if the company is acquired or lists on a stock exchange. And so he's not going to say thank you very much, Josh, if we give him stock options and suddenly he's got $1,000 worth of tax that he has to pay, but he hasn't actually got any cash coming in with it. We have been rolling that out with more senior leadership, but with briefings on the potential tax consequences. What we are seeing now, there's a new law on the books or being processed through Parliament now in Rwanda, where that is clarified, a Startup Act. I'm not sure what the current situation is in Kenya, but certainly yes, something that we believe in, and we do have a stock option pool already set aside for that.
Okay, thank you. In the interest of time, because I see we're running out of time, Brian, would you kindly tell us where do we find the Mobility Rising newsletter? How do we become part of it so that we get to be getting these news, opportunities, highlights, trends, so that we are updated?
Thanks for that. So before I asked Josh, he had raised his hand. I hope you had finished the point you wanted to raise, Josh.
Well, look, I would say that for those that have a bit of experience and feel ready, there are opportunities there's also the option of starting your own business, right, and starting to look at that and work on that. I think it will be also come across really well in an application if you say, hey, I'm also working on an idea in parallel that is related, and I want to use this job as an opportunity to learn the skills as I'm developing this, and also, it's okay to say to put food on the table, and want to embrace opportunities to upskill. I think, for the person who raised the question about international relations, if you actually want to step into a business and not necessarily use your degree to the extent you would maybe initially envision. I mean, I used to be a lawyer. There is hope for sideways transitions. I was able to leverage that in a way to make a stepping stone. I worked in China as an intellectual property lawyer, but I was able to see what was happening on the ground with EVs, with batteries, with solar, and then identify the opportunity to move sideways. And I'd say in general to anyone who's interested in thinking about starting a company, in this sector, the technology is moving so quickly that things that maybe weren't applications for EVs or markets for EVs or types of EVs that maybe weren't competitive 1 year ago are now competitive, because fundamentally battery prices have come down so much. And so be on the lookout for maybe use cases that didn't work previously, but maybe will work now. Maybe in agriculture, maybe it's using mixed use of batteries from vehicle to home use, agricultural use. So yeah, stay curious and keep running the numbers.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Josh. Over to you, Brian.
Thank you, Rispa. So our newsletter, as I mentioned at the beginning, we publish it daily, and you can subscribe by going to www.mobility-rising.com. That is our website. You will find the option to subscribe there. And once you subscribe, I will get a notification to tell you that you will now be receiving the emails every morning. So I will send them out at 6 a.m. East Africa time. That is the time we publish daily. So thank you very much. Everybody is welcome to subscribe so that you keep up with the trends in the sector. Thank you. So Robert has shared the link in the chat there, so you can use that to subscribe. Yeah, back to you, Rispa. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Brian. I can see we only have 3 minutes left. Oh, it's been an hour. That was so fast. But anyway, when the conversations are flowing, there's so much insights. Time seems to be flowing, but now we just have to wrap up because our time is up, but we will have more sessions like this. So just keep in touch. Make sure you check out Mobility Rising newsletter, because if you are subscribed, when we're about to have another session, you definitely will know. This is such an incredible session. I mean, I hope you all have learned a lot. My key lesson or my key takeaway is be willing to learn. Be willing to learn. And thank you so much to our amazing speakers, to Brian, Ian, Josh, Join. Thank you so much for sharing your insights. And I hope to our audience, I hope you feel inspired. I hope you now feel you want to take action. And thank you so much for making time to be here, for joining us today, for engaging with us, for asking questions. I look forward to seeing you to other sessions. And that's all for today from us. We hope to see you again. Hopefully this time when you already have the job that you're looking for or you're hoping to get, just go implement whatever you've learned today. I know you've learned a thing or two that you didn't know, and it's going to be so instrumental in your job search or in you advancing in your career. Yeah, that's all from us today. See you in the next session, unless anyone has anything to say in the remaining 2 minutes, because we have 2 remaining minutes. Yeah, unless anyone has something to tell us.
I'd say, well, look, I think there were some questions also about the debt and equity. I mean, certainly the sector could grow a lot faster than it has. In Africa, we are all very capital starved, but they also say when you plant a tree in the open, it grows maybe too fast and falls over in a big storm, but the tree that grows slowly up first in the forest and has to struggle can live for 1,000 years. So maybe there's a good thing, the trial by fire. But look, with simple demographics, urbanization trends in Africa, e-mobility is going to be a huge opportunity for this century. And so I think whether you're working in finance, operations, HR, the technology, manufacturing, distribution, sales, there are going to be a lot of opportunities because the unit economics are just so compelling, and the return on capital, the value creation for countries and individuals is so strong that it's an unstoppable force.
Okay, thank you so much, Josh, and thank you so much everyone for joining us. Have yourself a great day.
Thanks,
Thank
Rispa. Bye, everyone.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.